There's a great paradox about the opera Peter Grimes by Benjamin Britten, because of course it's the opera that's most associated with Aldeburgh, where he lived and worked for most of his life. It's also arguably his most famous opera, and yet it's too big to be staged here. So in fact it's only ever been heard once in the year 2000 when we did concerts in the concert hall, but it's a real squeeze putting Peter Grimes into the concert hall. So in celebrating his centenary, we wanted to really think about Britten and his connection to Suffolk and his connection to Aldeburgh, and the obvious piece is Peter Grimes, but we couldn't do a conventional operatic staging. Hence the idea of looking at different aspects of the piece in different ways and creating perhaps a composite picture or composite understanding of the opera. So we've got firstly the concerts at Snape Malting's Concert Hall for the musical purists, if you like, and then we've got a staging, a realisation on Aldeburgh Beach. Doesn't claim to be a kind of authentic staging of the opera, because as we'll hear in a minute, we had to make certain important artistic decisions that make it something rather unconventional. And then thirdly, the exploration of, let's call it, the mind of Peter Grimes through the punch-drunk theatrical production that Felix Barrett is creating. So with the concerts here at Snape and obviously the music element of the beach, we chose the conductor Stuart Bedford. No conductor alive has a stronger and longer association with Britten than Stuart. He worked here in Aldeburgh for many years, collaborated with Britten, was artistic director of the Aldeburgh Festival after Britten died. So there's no one really who understands his music better than Stuart. So he seemed the ideal person to be leading the musical element. As far as the staging on the beach is concerned, Tim Albury is somebody who's got a long association with the operas of Britten. He's in fact staged Peter Grimes elsewhere before. But what really attracted me to Tim's work is he works on the scale. He can bring the kind of big gestures that doing a realisation on a huge expanse of beach required. And then the third element, the Borough by Punch Drunk with Felix Barrett. I mean, Felix for me is one of the leading directors in terms of creating atmosphere and a kind of internal psychological journey for the audience, which was what we wanted to try and achieve with the Borough. Well, putting Grimes on the beach is obviously a huge challenge in many ways, the main challenge being the weather, the elements. And we didn't want to build a box on the beach and create a kind of sealed environment like a theatre, because the point of doing it on the beach, of course, is that the weather is a really important element in the opera. But obviously putting an orchestra on a beach is a pretty impossible thing to achieve, because the instruments are far too delicate. So we took the decision that with the concerts at Snape we would use that as an opportunity to record the orchestra in a high quality acoustic and use that recording on the beach. And of course the singers on the beach have to have mics as well, so they're amplified so that we can get the sound, really get the sound as good as it possibly can be on the beach, in order to be able to cope with wind and rain and any other weather that the heavens decide to throw at us. And we're really excited that we're making a CD from the live concerts at Snape, which will be available a week later for sale on the beach. A limited edition CD which I think will be a great memento of an extraordinary event.